Hello, hello. Good morning, friends. Good morning. Several people. That's a surprise. So many people to be on the stream so quick. Hello, everybody. How are you? And Susie and our Russian friend. I can't read Russian, but hello, all the same. Do svidaniya, etc. How are you doing this morning, everybody? So... Oh gosh, that's a lot of Russian. No comprende. No, that's just racist, sorry. So, let me see here. So I've been working using this new technique. So you can see here, I've discovered how to make fairly flat and straight lines, or technically I can make convex shapes, but it's quite tricky. So yeah, I'm filling out these surfaces of the mountain. It's taken a little while. Please come back in the picture too. What is going on? I'm so confused. Are we... Oh, is that what he said? Is that what he said? Ah, thank you. Good morning, Tokay. How are you today? So, I'm just going to swap over to the convex selection here. Oops. Ah, yes, of course. I don't think this is going to work because we're not going to get the... it's not going to draw the... Yeah, so we're going to have to swap out of the shaders, unfortunately, because we're not going to be able to see where we're selecting, which is an annoyance. Oh, I have something to say. Here we go. No, I don't. I haven't got it prepared. Well, here is... No, there's no joke. Sorry, my joke hasn't loaded. I had a joke prepared, but it's gone. So, the joke is the stream. Oh. Anyway, so let's just see if we can clean off this surface just a little. So this is the technique that I'm going to be using most of today. So, basically what I can do using this convex selection is that I can select pretty much any arbitrary shape, and so that's what I'm going to do. And then I can set it to air. And there we go. Boom. So like that we can kind of trim down this mountain shape and make it a bit smoother, and that's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. Oh, Ace, welcome back. It's been a long time. How have you been, friend? So I'm going to grab a rock brush, rockstone, 3. We'll go for 3, 90. So here's the technique as I've developed it. So I select a triangle here, or a region, not necessarily a triangle. So let's say this region here. And we'll bring it all the way up to, yeah. And, ooh, get a couple hits on the side as well. Adds a little bit of convex shape to it. And then we can kind of bring out here. So the reason that I'm doing this... yeah, what do you have in mind, Tokay? You can come up with the best stream name, and I'll use it if you can come up with a good one. Because my stream names are weak, I must admit, and I admit for yesterday, when I was streaming Minecraft, that trying out Wizard of Legend was not a good name for the stream, actually. And I see that now in hindsight. I should have chosen perhaps a different name that did not imply that I was playing a game that I wasn't playing. So, yeah, that was a bad time. Something's slowing my machine down, oddly. Let me see if I can close down anything. Oh, it's not really running anything. Odd. Let me swap into performance mode. Maybe that'll help. Doesn't seem to have helped too much, but so what I'm doing here is I'm padding out the mountain. Basically, I'm trying to pad up to where this red surface, this interior red surface here is. And then I can take off any excess, and what we'll be left with is a nice flat surface. In theory, it looks like we're actually quite slow though today, unfortunately. 360. I'm going to do that. That's a good stream name, actually. I'm writing that down right now. 360 no scope. T sipping 100% headshots. Brackets Minecraft creative. Got it. That'll be the next stream name. Look out for this. Hello, Mr. Minecraft. Good morning, friend. Alrighty, I think that's enough for now. Maybe not quite. So I'm trying to fill out more space than I actually need. So trying to go for more than is necessary, and then we can obviously we'll take off the excess. So now that we've got that kind of filled out, it looks horrible, but if we just do this, boom, aha, there we go. So suddenly we create a nice flat surface. And I know it's too flat at the moment, but it's a lot easier to get from a flat surface to a rough surface than it is to get from a rough surface to a flat surface. Which is, yeah. MLG Pro. How about we go for MLG Pro 360 no scope T 360 T no scopes tac sip headshots only. Minecraft creative. Chill. Good morning, Yuri. How are you this morning, friend? We're seeing Ace return for... It's been a little while since I saw him. He still hasn't told us where he's been, but I guess Ace is a man of mystery, and I actually don't know if I know anything about Ace. Apart from that, he likes using the Twitch emojis. I think you're the only one using the Twitch emojis, but sometimes your emojis are showing up as... Okay, I think I need bigger than this. This rock is too small. Sometimes your Twitch emojis are showing up as some of the most used emojis, so clearly you are carrying the Twitch side all alone. Sponsored by Adderall. We're going to have some good names, and I actually like this as an idea. I think it could be funny. I'm not sure that we'll bring in many more viewers, but we probably won't scare away too many viewers either. It could be funny, actually. If you guys have any suggestions for title for the stream, shoot them to me on Facebook as well, and I'll make a list, and I think I'll actually do it because I think it could be funny. At worst, it'll be funny, and at best, it might actually bring some people on the stream. Maybe not the right kind of people, but, you know. So one interesting side effect of using this technique is that we create some kind of, like, artifacts left over, but these are actually kind of cool. I quite like the way they look. They give kind of some structure to it, and once we smooth that out, those are going to become part of the build much more, so... this is basically going to be the technique for the rest of this entire thing, so this is going to be a slow old build, really. But as I've said each time that comes up, I kind of knew that when I started a 10 million block build. So you don't place 10 million blocks without making a few enemies. Is that how that movie about Minecraft goes? But that should be. We could make it. We could call it the Minecraft Network. A movie about Notch. You don't make 10 million blocks without making a few creepers. 10 million blocks. Sorry. I didn't set that as a limit. We're probably going to go over 10 million because I mean some of these blocks are going to get placed more than once. So I think we're over 10 million anyway. To be honest, that was only counting the stuff that's above the water. So I think we're probably over 10 million so far in this build. Alright, so this area down here is going to be a little bit trickier. I think this is going to be a separate region of its own, but let's leave the bottom for now. And we'll keep working up this way. Looks like a good place. Here. I wish there was a quicker way for me to get these kind of outlying spots on, but I'm not sure that there is really, unfortunately. Okay, so fill this one out. This whole technique, I think, it's probably possible to streamline it a bit more than I've done, but I don't really know exactly how to do that. Alrighty, next one. Super Sandy Pyramid. Mega Mountain. Yeah, I've been thinking about, it's not going to be it's actually not going to be sandy when it's finished. The sand is just kind of a temporary thing. But yeah, maybe we need a different name for this, because, I mean, this is going to be a completely separate biome than... Let's bring this all the way down, why not? Don't want to bring it too low, actually. Yeah, this is going to be a separate biome, though, to the valley, sorry, what's it called? The bay, I suppose. So it's, it probably will have a different name. I don't know though at this point. So this is going to be an interesting, a big one here. So I think let's make a big rock. BR rock. Granite 1090 mask air, and we should be able to fill this space out a little bit quicker then. I mean, I know it's going to look a bit weird, but yeah, we got to break some omelets, break some omelets to make a few eggs, as they say. Pretty sure that's something that they say. Just trying to fill out this triangle, this square here of the actual surface, but I mean what we're going to be left with is a floating surface, but we'll deal with that when we come back later. Alright, I think that's good enough, so let's do, we set that to air, and whoosh, we have another triangle, or not triangle, but polygon. So I was discussing yesterday with Yuri, actually, or talking about how I think it might be quite cool to make a map where the whole map is actually kind of, imagine kind of like Tron kind of style. So it's like really kind of neon lights and stuff, and it's made of polygons only. So kind of like the mountain here is made of individual like triangles, but like this, except the entire map is well, part of the map is made like that. I was thinking kind of maybe even like a walking simulator where you start on like a plain flat surface, and then slowly it becomes kind of more and more detailed. And so as you go through the adventure map, it starts with plain flat surface, then you start to get some kind of blocks and some like grids on the ground, and then eventually you start to get like triangular like mountains, and then eventually you end up with Minecraft in all its glory, which is also made of blocks. I understand that, but alrighty, so we're doing quite a big space here, so we'll see what happens. Just gonna get my pos 2 in here. You want the story of how Yuri became a moderator. I'm not sure there is much of a story. Once upon a time, I made a stream, and there was this Russian guy who kept coming to my stream, even when nobody else was on the stream. And so I felt kind of awkward about the fact that it was just me and him here, and I thought that somehow I could break the tension by making him the moderator, and it didn't. It was still awkward. So that's the story of how I... No, that's not true. It's not awkward. I did have a story, actually, that I wanted to tell. I thought about it. I remembered which... It was a good story, but it slipped my mind now, which is annoying. I'm kind of concerned, actually. This looks like it's eating into the ground, which is not a good thing. What story could I tell? No, now that I'm being put on the spot, I can't remember a good story. You could prompt me for a story, ask me, and I'll see if I can come up with something, because I should have written down the particular story I was thinking of telling. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm drawing a blank now. You know when you get put on the spot and you're like, I don't know. That's me, but every time I go on the stream. Oops. Right. I think that's enough. And we can finally get rid of this big cylinder that's poking through. So let's get rid of that. Boom. Cool. So there's a little bit of a gap in the middle, but it's okay. It's all good. So next one. So I'm trying to keep it. I could spam click everywhere, and that does kind of work, but it also kind of doesn't work, unfortunately. There seems to be a bug with the mod which prevents it from working kind of as intended. Which sucks, really. So you have to keep the number of vertexes to kind of a minimum. So here's some maths talk for you guys. When you're talking about shapes, trigonometry, this is the corners, the edges, i.e. where I'm placing the where I'm clicking. It's called a vertex. It's the fancy word for a corner. And the parts that join it are called edges. So you can see right now we're getting edges and vertices. There we go. Trigonometry. Don't say you don't learn anything on this stream, because it's true, and it will hurt my feelings. So just don't do it. I have a fun story, okay? Here's a story from when I was a kid. This is not a very fun story, actually. It's kind of traumatic, but let me tell you a story about how I nearly died one time. And it's not a great punchline, but it's not a great story either. But I'm going to tell a story now because I started. So near where I used to live, there was, in fact, you can search it up, probably. In the northeast of England, we have these very, it's quite dangerous, really. We have quite soft stone, I suppose. The stone is quite soft, and so the cliffs erode quite rapidly, and notably you get this special kind of cliff. I don't know if it's found really many other places. It's a sheer cliff, and then it's a 45-degree cliff, and then it's flat. So it goes straight up, and then it leans, and then it's flat. And this is dangerous because you can be on the flat, and you can go to where it starts to lean, and then once it's because it's so soft, it's kind of just like bare earth almost. Bare earth, dangerous, like slidey bare earth. And once you're on those 45-degree angles, you will fall to your death essentially, because it's a big cliff, and once you're sliding, there's no way of stopping. So anyway, cut to me being a kid and hanging out with my friends, and we're at, because it's the northeast, it's the industrial northeast, and it is very industrial. There's lots of old industrial structures around, and we're hanging out at this old, it's called a fan house, because there's mines. You need a fan house, which is, the purpose of this fan house is it has big fans in it, and it blows air into the mine to keep people from suffocating. But of course these have been out of order for donkey's years. Like, there's nothing left, it's just a concrete husk at this point. Anyway, we're hanging out there. This has got no relevance to the story, but it's kind of a cool scene. Here we go. And so near to this concrete husk is a one of these cliffs. It's very close, it's on the coast. And so I thought, me and my friends thought, oh, let's go hang out at the cliff. We'd heard about somebody who'd been trapped on the cliff, who'd started sliding, and then had become stuck on the cliff, and they had to be rescued by a helicopter. And so we were like, as teenage boys do, yo, let's go check out where that girl got stuck. And so we did, and we got there, and we started climbing down, and I was like, you know, reckless bravado, I'm leading the way. I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So I start climbing down, and I started to slide. And let me tell you, it's not fun, knowing you're about to die. It was kind of scary. Well, I mean, it was more than scary. In fact, it was just like absolute terror. And I'm sliding down this cliff. And spoilers, I didn't die because I'm still here. But at the bottom of, fortunately on the cliff, kind of just before, so I'm sliding down. This cliff is a bit more shallow. It's kind of like this, but then with a cliff in the middle. So if I'd slid too far, I would have fallen maybe 40 feet onto another. I would have died anyway if I'd fallen over this cliff that was coming up. It was very soft as well. So if you even approached the edge of the cliff, it would have broken and fallen away. And just before the end of the cliff was a thorn bush, in fact. So thorns were there, yeah. So I crashed into the thorn bush and was bleeding all over the place. But I did not fall to my death, which was nice. But as I was falling, I turned to my friend and I screamed, "Tom, if I die, it's your fault." And those would have been my dying words, which shows how great a friend I am. Anyway, that's the cool story that I had to tell. It's not that great a story. Climbing out of there was very difficult as well, actually, I should mention. That was extremely hair-raising, trying to climb through the like 45-degree angle, like shale. Terrifying, really. And then I got home and I couldn't tell my parents, of course, because they'd be like, "Why did you do that? Why would you go on the cliff?" So I just, you know, I was just absolutely traumatized, and I just kind of went about the rest of my day. So that was fun. No, so I was just kind of sliding face down, like I had no dignity at all. I was just face down, grabbing into the soil with my feet and my fingers. And as I say, I landed into this thorn bush, so I was cut by the thorns. But I mean, I've never been more glad to land into a bush of thorns than that day. Getting spiked is never too much fun. But goodbye. Oh yeah, there's my near-death experience story. I've actually nearly died a couple times on other occasions, but I don't know. Is there a difference? This is something I was wondering. Is there a difference between nearly dying and almost dying? Like, it's, you know, I got sick once. I got really, really sick and I nearly died when I was a kid. But I mean, that's quite different to nearly falling from a cliff and dying, because I wasn't actually hurt by the cliff, but I mean, I was extremely sick and nearly died from the illness. Which is, I don't know, yeah, they're two different things, I suppose. I've been really sick on a few occasions, actually. I think, I don't know if I have a weak immune system or what, but I remember once being so, I was incredibly, what's the word? Hallucinogenic, I suppose. I was very feverish, and I kept seeing things that weren't there. So, for example, I kept seeing spiders. Like, I'm deathly afraid of spiders. And I kept seeing spiders on my bed. I'm in the bed, and there's spiders on the bed, and I'm like terrified of them. So that was kind of horrifying. I remember that quite distinctly. Oh, I have other stories about nearly dying. When I was a kid. So I lived in a very rough area, and I had one occasion where me and my friends are out in this kind of rough patch of ground, and then we see another gang, like rival gang of kids, not like an actual gang, but like you know, like a group of kids, and we start doing what stupid kids do, which is start throwing rocks at each other, and we started throwing rocks, and we knew them, and they knew us. So, I mean, I don't know why we were throwing rocks at each other, we just were. I guess maybe they started it, but I don't know. Hello. Well, it's not schizophrenia if you're hallucinating because you're sick, I think. I was extremely feverish. I don't know what it was that I had, but again, I think I nearly died on that occasion too. Anyway, yeah, we're throwing rocks at the kids, and they're throwing rocks at us, and then I hit this, by accident, you know, I'm probably not trying to hit anybody, or, well, I suppose I am, I'm throwing rocks, but I hit this one kid, he's older than us, I hit his little brother in the head with a rock, and I mean, I didn't like knock him out or really severely hurt him or anything, but his mate gets like enraged, and they charge at us, and so I'm like shit, like just legging it. And he's chasing me. He has a pitchfork. For some reason, he's carrying a pitchfork with him. So he's got this pitchfork and he's chasing me. He's like trying to stab me with it. And there's another guy who's running, and he's got a sickle. Like, you know, imagine like farmers' tools. I think, I don't know why they had them. I think it's because we were kind of near to like an allotment where there's a lot of abandoned like sheds and things which had tools in. Anyway, so I'm getting chased by a guy with a pitchfork, and he caught me, and in the end I just cowered in a ball and like cried basically, and fortunately he didn't like stab me in the kidney and kill me. Oh, I've started placing, hello, Doma. I've started placing the blocks before I selected the area, which was dumb, but it's easily remedied at the moment. It's not too bad for now. Oh gosh, there's a lot. I have a lot of stories actually about when I was a kid. Oh, a great thing about me and my name. I have a very common name, or not very common, but common enough, and I would often get caught by the police doing something wrong. And of course, you know, the police don't have time to deal with kids. Kids are scared of the police, but they just don't have time to deal with kids. Like, they've got real crimes to worry about. So they'd ask for my name, and I'd tell them my name, and they'd say, oh, right, yeah, John Smith. You're looking a bit younger than usual. There was this other kid who had the same name as me, who was you know, very well known to the police, shall we say. And so every time I gave the name, they were convinced that I was giving a fake name. But I'm like, no, it's my name, that's my name. But I guess they you know, they didn't have time to mess about, so they just accepted that I was giving a fake name, which was great, so I could give my real name without getting in trouble. Oh goodness, my as I say, my here, look, we've actually got. Can you see here? We actually have a curved surface. Look, it's slightly curved. That's cool. It is doing what it's supposed to be doing, kind of. It's not very curved, but alright. So we kind of done this mountain then. So let's see what we made. I think it actually looks quite cool already, just as it is. It's quite big and flat, but nice. My name is not John Smith. I just picked that as a common name. Actually, no, it could be John Smith. Maybe it is John Smith. Your choice. As I say, I do have a very common name, so even if you knew my name, I don't think it'd be very easy to find me. I'm still not telling you, though. Alrighty, so let's do this one now. Any other interesting stories? I'm trying to think of some really cool. Mostly I just have stories that are bad, like about how I did bad things, or got in trouble. I was kind of a bad kid, actually, thinking about it. I was really, I mean, I used to be like freaking genius, like a child prodigy. Maybe not a child prodigy, but I mean, like, I was I was very, very quick at learning, like super quick. I would just absorb everything like a sponge. I've lost that power, unfortunately. I could remember things just extremely well. And another thing that I could do when I was a kid, I can't really do it anymore. I could listen and talk at the same time, which, I mean, if anybody's ever been a teacher, you can imagine what kind of a nightmare that is for a teacher, because it was quite common that if I had a new teacher, the teacher they would only ever make this mistake once, but they would say to me, I would be talking whatever, yabba 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 yabba. I used to talk all the time. I was such a gossip, and they would try and catch me out, and they'd say, "What did I just say?" And I would just repeat perfectly word for word what they just said. And so they only ever made this mistake once, and they never did it again. Which is a funny thing. But unfortunately, I lost that power over time. When you become older, your brain turns to mush, and so I can't remember everything anymore. And I also can't talk and listen at the same time. In fact, I'm really bad now. I get so easily distracted. If anything comes to mind, I'm just gone. Brain is over there listening to that instead. So if somebody's talking, it's a real problem actually for me at work. If somebody near to me is talking at work, I can't listen. I can't not listen, I should say. I'm just better listen to that. Gotta focus on that. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, you can recapture, I think, a little bit. It's actually Alan Watts likes to talk about this, how kids have this great creativity about them, and yeah, they have a creativity, and they have what's the word? Like great improvisation, I suppose, skills. They can improvise effortlessly. And when we go through education, we kind of teach the kids how to be, how to not do that, essentially, how to control themselves and how to be good citizens, etc. Okay, this is going to be a bit awkward here. We've actually scooped like a huge area, so Let's see if we can make it work though. We'll try to do several regions at once. Oh gosh, this is a very large area actually. Hopefully it's not too much, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, so you go through education being taught how to be non-spontaneous and non-creative and you know, how to regurgitate facts essentially. And then when you finish education, Alan Watts was a believer that we should all have psychotherapy to kind of destroy our neuroticism that we get from education. So I think a lot of people do come out of education and they've got no idea what to do. Yeah, I used to love doing that. I would love to have. It's funny when you become an adult, you gain a lot of confidence that you never had as a kid. Like, I mean, if I had the confidence, I mean, I'm still not very confident. I'm not really a super confident person, but I have like so much more confidence than when I was like a teenager. If I had the confidence that I have now as a teenager, I would have just been. It would have been a thing to behold. I would have been the almighty douche. I would have been such a horrible person, but I would have been so great at everything. And it's kind of a shame that I don't have that. I didn't have that confidence back then. But I guess this is an interesting property of teenagers. Hey, how about that? Look, we made like a curved surface. Nice. So we can do this. The almighty douche. Hello, Jerome. What are you saying, Jerome? I'm kind of confused. You can't see me, or you didn't get notified? Is that what you're saying? Righty, go up to here. Well, I think each age has its own problems. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, every age has its own problems and its own typical issues, I suppose. Personally, okay. Well, bye, friend. I see. I understand now. Yeah, let me know if other people are having that, because I do want to try and resolve any sound issues. I really wish I'd had Minecraft when I was a kid, to be honest. It's kind of a... yeah, it would have been... I would have really enjoyed it, I think. I can imagine. When I was a kid, after I kind of had that phase of being a bit rebellious, well, I kind of grew out of it a little bit. Sorry, excuse me. I grew out of it a bit. Well, I don't know if I grew out of it, but I just wanted to play video games all the time. It was real sad. My friends would call for me. They'd be like, "Hey, is Imgal coming out to play?" And I'd be like, "No, Imgal is my in-game video game name, and that's the way it will stay." They didn't address me by my video game name, but you know, they'd ask me to come out and play. I'd be like, "Nah, I just kind of want to play my Morpgers, my MMORPGs, all alone in my room." And then after a while, it was really sad. They just kind of stopped. They stopped coming to my house to ask me to play. Which is real sad. I don't recommend that. Excuse me. There we go. There's a little bit of a walk down the rabbit hole of my childhood. Hopefully nobody is. Hopefully I didn't give away any personally identifiable details. Probably one of the biggest things, actually, I think, that I didn't realise when I was a kid is that. Well, I moved away from where my childhood home was. My parents don't live there either, so my school friends, who I thought were kind of going to be my friends for like forever, maybe at some points, I just never see them anymore. I haven't seen them in years. Some of them I haven't seen in like probably 10 years. Maybe? Let me think. No, not 10 years. Say 7 years it's been since I've seen some of my school friends, and I haven't kept in touch. It's a weird thing, really. You think, as a kid, you think, oh, this is going to be so important, these people are going to be so important to me, but, yeah, I just kind of moved away and haven't seen them since, really. Which is funny. But I think this is, I don't know about that. Maybe it's something on... It must be something on your end. I mean, if nobody else is having the issue. What would we say more than that? Boyfriend. Okay. Oh, I thought of the story that I wanted to tell. Or I thought of a story that I wanted to tell. Did I? I can tell a story. So, I was talking about... Oh, no, it's a bad story, actually. No, it's horrible. Sorry, no, I'm actually not going to tell it, because it's just a bit grim. I don't really want to tell that one, actually. Or you have a diagnostic. I'm not sure whether that's going to be legit though. Alright, so let's set air. Boom. Oh, I love it. Look. It's like it's shaped. Haha. Nice. Alrighty, let's do this area down here now. So we've done these nominally. Grab this space here. Doesn't matter if we overlap a little bit some areas, that's okay. Well, there's an easy way to tell, right? Do you have some kind of speaker? Try unplugging it and listening from speakers and see if it still happens. What kind of headphones do you have, Dom? Are they, like, nice ones or cheap ones? I find buying nice ones is generally a good call, actually. I mean, obviously, you know, it's easier said than done if you don't have any money, but yeah, I feel like often it's kind of false economy to buy the cheap ones because you get a worse quality thing, and it breaks faster. So you get a worse experience, and then you know, inevitably it breaks. I'm a bit disappointed. I have some at times. I'll talk to myself about headphones, or anyone else that'll listen. They have some ATH, it's like MX50 or something. I don't know. They're quite expensive though. Headphones, and they're still working just perfectly. Apart from the they have like the plastic, fake leather, or maybe it's leather. I don't know. I think it's fake leather or bonded leather maybe. Is that a whale down there? I know. It's a floating rock. The ear portion has started to deteriorate, unfortunately, which sucks. Because you know, I like having those, and I paid quite a lot of money for them, so I was kind of hoping they'd last longer. But I guess there's not really much I can do about it because the ear covers they're not like detachable or anything, so I couldn't buy a replacement easily. Maybe I can buy a replacement. I'll have to have a look. Oh. Well, that explains that. Oh, this just opened up whole new possibilities, actually, didn't it? So, say I want to smooth some area down, I can do that quite easily. Like, let's say I change my mind, I want to make this a bit smoother, this corner here. I can just put a new shape in here. And we can just lop this whole corner off here, this whole kind of tricky edge. Something else I realised that I could be doing with this is using it additively, which would have saved me a lot of effort, I think, in a lot of ways, if I just filled this out instead of filling it, instead of kind of using it subtractively. Boom. And so like that, I can real quick change the surface. I don't want it to be too smooth, but kind of want to maintain some of those rough edges. But that's a cool technique, of course. So actually, one thing I'm going to try up here. Orcs. Jack, maybe? Call it a jack. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. Let's make this quicker. Let's save some time by making a big selection here all the way around. And I'm still going to have to go over it with some more rocks because it's not going to fill it out perfectly. But it's going to do a pretty good job, actually, of... let's go all the way down. Why not? Let's follow these all the way. And my intention here is just to set it to stone, and so what we'll get is hopefully a nice build out pyramid shape. And I think we're going to get that. If I do, yeah, like that, I think that's it. If I do set stone now, okay, well then, that kind of worked. Yeah, that just kind of worked as is, I think. Boom, bish bash bosh. Doesn't have the same charm as this one, but once we get the brushes on there, I think it will work actually. I do know how to solder. I learnt some soldering in my electronics class at school, so I know a bit. Not too much, but enough to I could do soldering. I could solder some. The only problem with this... Oh, no. Well, the only problem with this kind of a technique is that yeah, it's not going to work. It's going to be a bit clumsy in many ways, and it's kind of difficult to get it to work on this side because I can't select inside the mountain very easily. So let's try it anyway. We go inside. Arrgh. Well, I'm not going to get inside the sand mountain very easily, am I? So let's abandon that idea, actually. Are you interested in becoming a moderator, Tokay? Is that it? We have a lot of moderators. I made Doma a moderator because he seemed reasonably mature and he was hanging around here quite a lot, so I thought, why not? There's not really too much more to it than that. And I mean, in theory, I could make you a moderator, but we don't really need more moderators. So maybe one day, I might make you a moderator if we need more. But you understand, being a moderator's, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Soldering is a difficult technique, and you can definitely mess it up, which is probably why he may have not wanted you to do it. It's yeah, you can definitely mess it up. So I guess that's why. I imagine it would be pretty tricky, to be honest, to do some soldering inside an actual device. They're done. That's kind of cool, actually. So the process where they make they solder using a solder bath in industry. So what you do is you get you have this PCB, and it's all covered in the green stuff, and then on top of it is printed the copper, and the pads are made of copper. And the solder likes sticking to copper, and it likes to stick to metal, but it doesn't like to stick to anything else. So the way I understand that you do it in industry is you put all the components onto the board, and then you just dip the board into molten solder and lift it back up, and the molten solder sticks to all of the pads, and obviously doesn't stick to anything else. And so they've got this perfectly down, and there's no tricky work at all. And so the pads are extremely small, far smaller than on hand soldered board. So if you try to do that by hand, it's very easy to burn the pad off. We call it burning the pad off. When you heat the copper too much, and I don't know if it melts away. I think it melts away, or it turns to gas. I don't know what happens to it, to be honest. I'm a physicist, but I don't know what happens to the. I don't know where the copper goes. It shouldn't really turn to gas, so I don't know what happens to it. But it gets burnt, and then you can't use it anymore, and it wrecks the board. So that may be why he was not keen to give it a go. Boom. Yeah, I don't know if it probably doesn't turn to gas, actually. I'm probably wrong there, but it does burn away, so I don't know what happens. I don't know where it goes. It probably oxidizes, maybe? Yeah, it probably oxidizes, turns to copper oxide or whatever. And you're left with like a little black thing. I mean, it does get very hot. We're talking about like hundreds of degrees, I think. Solder is quite hot when it melts. It is not pleasant being burnt by a soldering iron. Let me tell you that much. I had a soldering kit, actually, but it was a soldering gun, and a soldering gun sucks. It's like a bad tool. fact, I hate soldering guns. They just don't heat up quick enough. Hundreds of degrees is hot. Like... Don't ask me what happens to the copper pad, but hundreds. It's a very hot thing. It's the hottest thing you're going to find in most toolkits. Like it's a very, very hot device. No, sure, but I mean, we're not trying to melt all the metal. We're only trying to melt the solder, which is kind of quite cool, quite easy to melt for a metal. No, yeah, sure. I don't think it turns to gas. I was wrong. I don't know why I said it turns to gas, but it goes away. So I think it turns to copper oxide or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what. Dom was planning on soldering something, I think. I don't know. Hello, Olivia. Good morning. I don't know when the last time you saw the stream was, but I'm making mountains at the moment, and I'm doing the very basic level of it at the moment, so just doing the surface, kind of. And then we're gonna kind of delve deeper into the more finicky elements of it. You're gonna solder your future. If you're interested, if you hang around for... Well, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna do this last one here, and then I'm gonna go for an explore. If you guys are... Oops. If you guys are interested, would you like to have a look around the world again? What do you mean soldered? I've never soldered two cables together. Well, I have on one occasion, but it didn't work very well. I'm normally talking about soldering PCBs, printed circuit boards. Alright, here we go. I'm going to swap over to the shaders now. And... Where's my... You ready for a joke? Here's a joke. I went to the doctor's the other day, and he said, go to Bournemouth, it's great for flu. So I went, and I got it. What? That's a bad joke. No! Okay, these are some real bad jokes. I think they're like stand-up jokes, and I'm clearly not a stand-up comedian. How about this one? The animal stylist at the zoo has become a main attraction. Alrighty, so here we go. Let's have a quick look around what we're building at the moment. So you guys understand the kind of the scale of this. It's around about 10 million blocks. 10 million blocks. This on its own is probably it's probably about what, maybe 15 chunks across, 20 chunks across, I guess. In fact, we could count them. No, I'm not going to bother. So the mountains do continue over this way. We haven't seen them in a while, but and I think I'll need to continue further over this way once I get here, but for now, no. Alright, so Peaceful Valley is just down here. So yeah, this is where Peaceful Valley is, and the cool thing about this new build is that it will be visible from Peaceful Valley, which I didn't think was going to be possible for anything to be visible, but there you go, you can actually see the mountains there. So that's awesome. And you can really get a sense of how big they are just by moving around down here. Like, they barely move. Like, awesome. Oh, I'm getting a real sense of, yeah, they feel like mountains. You know, like, this feels like a mountain valley, which I guess it kind of is. You know, when you're in the mountains and you're moving, and the trees in front are moving, and the mountain in the background's just not moving. You get a real sense of just how huge it is. The inventor of the USB died today. They lowered his coffin, raised it back out, flipped it over, lowered it in again, raised it back out, flipped it over again, and lowered it down again. Yes. I approve this message. Anyway, so there's Peaceful Valley. Here's where the mountains are. Through here is the... This mountain kind of ties everything together, really. Here's the gorge that we built. Obviously, this is going to need some... There's going to be like some cool waterfall down here. This is all not filled out. So maybe we could just put some stuff in here just for the sake of it. But whatever, it's not important. You get the idea. So water's going to have to come from somewhere down here. I'm not sure yet where. Got this area, we got the forest here. Through here is the previous mountain we built, so I'm going to try and make the next ones in this same kind of style, but it's going to be a bit of a effort to do that. But, you know, it's all effort. Fortunately, we can't see both mountains at the same time. Oh well, we'll deal. We'll deal with that. And through here is the bay, Peaceful Bay or whatever, I can't remember what it's called. Nice. And what we can do now, actually, while we're here, let's make use of our newfound power, and we'll try and make a nice smooth beach on the other side here. So let's try it out. So this area here, for example, let's say we want this to be nice and smooth. So like this, and I guess if we just go up here and then we go over here, we'll find out what happens, to be honest. Oh, we cut a slice into it. Not quite what I had in mind, but I mean, if I imagine if I were to fill that sand on here, kind of fill the line back in, we're probably going to end up with exactly what we had before. Yay! Haha. Experiments, anyway. Alright, anyway, I'm just going to real quick just fill this back up because I made a bit of a mess. But I think a similar technique to what I just did can be used to smooth beaches out. Maybe not quite what I did. Oh, it looks like a cave under the sand. You mean like it collapsed or something? That could be cool. Yeah. Only thing is... Oh, hello, Cozy. Missed your joining there. Hello, friend. So, I mean, I think by the time I've put this all back with a brush, it probably hasn't paid off at all. Probably didn't make any odds. In fact, it's probably actually rougher than it was before. But, well. In the meantime, while I was distracting you with this, all the background is loading, so we can kind of have a look around. There we go. So we nearly loaded everything. Loading these trees. I've heard about cubic chunks. Does anyone know about cubic chunks? Can anyone tell me about cubic chunks? Is that going to be a new feature of actual Minecraft, or is that a mod? Oh gosh, there's too much stuff to load in now. So I think we're approaching kind of, well, once we've got the mountain in, it's going to be finished and the time lapse is going to be done. So we've got, in terms of left to do, this flower area is going to continue around, I think. And then yeah, there's a lot of flowers here, a lot of petals, maybe too many petals to be fair. And no, oh there we go. I was gonna say once we load one area and we lose the other area, but oh gosh, I'm in a losing battle here with the chunk loading system apparently. Alrighty, but I think maybe we've loaded most of it now. If I turn around, we can have a look at what we built. So there's going to be mountains there, yeah, mountain over there, and there's going to be a volcano over this way. We can't see it now, but my skin is glowing. Am I bright? Is it? Maybe it's the light outside, I guess. Brighter now. Yeah, I tried to spread the petals more. Yeah, I've been thinking about some stuff in the water. I kind of want to get the aquatic mod before I do anything with the water. But yes, in the water is a good idea. There is actually a little secret area here. We've got mysterious lighting here. Yeah, I think cubic chunks turns the chunks into cubes instead of at the moment we have cuboids where you always load the whole of the Z coordinate, so I think cubic chunks means you can go up and down an infinite distance, which is cool. So there's no limit to the up and down distance there. Sorry, I should be more like, no, that's offensive. God forgive us for this sacrilegious demonstration. Okay, I must be going. Thanks for watching, everyone. Tomorrow I'll be continuing with the same area again. Hopefully we'll be able to get, I think by the end of the week we should be able to get the base layer of the mountains done, and then it's going to be terraforming using the erosion brushes at a much finer detail level. So no more of this like very large size stuff. I do need to do this area down here as well. I think it's going to be more of the flower area, so we're going to have like kind of flower forests and flower meadows. Alrighty, bye bye everyone. Somewhere here. Bye bye bye.